We're back with another segment of Be Inspired with Natalie B. And today we're focusing on how to help our furry friends, from organizations pushing for legal protections to the groups offering a safe haven for animals. There's a lot to unpack here. And we're going to start, Natalie, thank you so much for being here.
Good to see you.
We're going to start with the lack of reliable data on animal welfare.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised because this journey started when I noticed something on Instagram, as many of us do now, where we get our information. And they were saying that since COVID, at the height of COVID, so many animals were being adopted. And since the height of COVID, so many animals have been returned to shelters because people are going back to the office. But more importantly, people don't have the financial means
to take care of them.
And so it's become hugely problematic. And there aren't really a lot of centralized data sources. So there are vast differences in numbers, but there's something like between 8 to 12 million animals that end up in shelters every year, and 5 to 9 million of them end up euthanized.
Wow.
And there's something along the lines of 70 million cats by themselves that are just strays, and most of them were pets that either were neglected or released or got lost and aren't identified. And we all know humans and animals do better living together. So this segment really was sort of inspired by those statistics.
And let's talk about the compassionate treatment for both animals in our homes and the animals used for food, because this is a big thing too.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, 94% of people agree when the ASPCA, and please don't ask me what that acronym stands for, but it's it's an animal welfare organization, but when they did a study, 94% of people agree that even if we are consuming animal products, those animals deserve to live with compassion to and up to the end of their lives. And so there really is this push now for policy and legalities surrounding those issues around compassion when it comes to how we treat animals. Because Heather, there's actually not a lot on the books about that.
Well, and I think too, as we're finding out more and more, we want to know what it is that we are consuming. And so when it comes to compassion all across the board, from the way that they're treated, the way they're living, the things that they're receiving, eating 100%. During their care, all of that is important.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about the Foster Farm Animal Rescue.
Yeah, this is such a cool organization, and the word organization I'm kind of using loosely because they don't actually have a location, but it's a collective of volunteers. And so if you're new to possibly the idea of wanting to have a pet, but maybe you're not ready to take the leap, you can foster a pet while they find that pet a forever home. And they'll provide all the medical care, vaccinations, and supplies that you'll need. And most people end up fostering for about 2 to 4 weeks before a permanent home is found. So it's great for somebody whose lifestyle maybe isn't conducive to having a full-time pet, but you can still take an animal in and shelter them that way. I just love this organization, and I love that it's all volunteers.
Wonderful, yeah. And Kindred Spirits Rescue Ranch, and animals that come as humane cases in many cases.
Yes, and this one I found really fascinating. It started in 2019. This couple just started rescuing domesticated ducks that had been abandoned, and now they rescue.
Look at some of the pictures. It's everything.
They've got alpacas. They've got cows, horses, pigs, goats. You name it, they've probably rescued it. They've rescued over 200 different animals, and a lot of them are humane cases in the sense that animals that have been abandoned, a lot of them that work for us, right, that produce milk or that work on farms and that no longer can do their jobs because they're older or they become sick. A lot of times those are sort of, set out to pasture in not the worst way. So this organization steps in to be of support, and I just think it's fantastic.
And lastly, if we can quickly get to Humane Action Pittsburgh.
Yes, this is an action and advocacy group, so there's always something that any of us can do, and if you can't foster, if you can't be a part of the farm, you can donate to this organization, which focuses what we were talking about on policy and legalities, and they have a day coming up for volunteering with the Swissvale Pollinators Garden on September 16th, and you can go to their gala on November 3rd and support them that way. So lots of ways to be inspired and get involved.
Thank you so much, Natalie. We're going to have more on all of these organizations and how you can help on our website, kdka.com/talkpittsburgh, and we'll be right back after this.